Now, in case you haven't noticed, the DACA program has been back in headlines lately. DACA offered asylum and support to children of immigrants who illegally entered the United States until it was axed by President Donald Trump last year. The fate of thousands of dreamers, as they're called, is now up in the air, including one dreamer who's actually from Israel. ILTV's Berleon Smith has more on this story.
Thank you, Aaron. Well, when most people think about immigrants or illegal immigrants in the U.S., especially those protected under DACA, I think they'd be pretty shocked to learn that there's a few Israelis in there. But that's exactly why the program is so beloved and why so many people are fighting to save DACA, even those on the right who believe in Trump's America First policy. And it's exactly why so many immigrants brought their children to America in the first place. They were hoping for a better life for their families. And in the case of these dreamers, nearly 250,000 people, they're kids, including this Israeli dreamer who has a very interesting story.
All right, well, so to illustrate what you're telling me, first tell me a little bit about this person, this Israeli DACA recipient. I mean, I presume that he came to America when he was very young still.
Correct. So his name is Ol Yacobi. Originally, he was born in Israel, and he was brought to the U.S. illegally when he was 7 years old. Ol's 22 now, which means he's lived in the country the majority of his life. So obviously, he speaks English. His friends are American. He freelances and pays taxes as an American, despite not having citizenship. And thanks to DACA, he's actually about to finish a computer science degree at UC San Diego. But he almost didn't graduate at all because immigration put him in jail a few days ago when his car took a wrong turn and accidentally crossed into Mexico. I've got the full story in my report.
All right.
22-year-old Or Yacobi, originally born in Israel, was illegally brought to the United States when he was just 7 years old, and it's been his home ever since. Like nearly 700,000 other dreamers, Yacobi has managed to stay in the United States thanks to the country's DACA program, which even allowed him to enroll in the University of California, San Diego, despite his technical status as an illegal immigrant. But the program has its rules, one of which forbids dreamers from leaving the country, and that's exactly what happened when Yacobi and a friend turned down the wrong road and found themselves accidentally crossing the border into Mexico. Yacobi's friend was driving at the time, but they both started freaking out when they realized the interstate had no exits, no off-ramps, and nowhere to U-turn. U.S. Border Patrol took one look at Yacobi's papers and immediately tossed him in jail. Despite pressure from lawmakers and the nature of the simple mistake, immigration kept him detained for several days before finally releasing him. Thankfully, just in time for him to finish his computer science degree. But this may only feel like a temporary victory for Yacobi, who, like every other dreamer, is facing possible deportation unless the DACA program can be saved. President Trump axed the program last year, and despite saying he'd be willing to work with Congress on saving it, tweeted just yesterday that, quote, DACA is probably dead.